Now, in case you guys were wondering, I was myself. This right here is in fact a bunghole. I had no idea. I thought a bunghole was a butthole. You learn something every day. Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Welcome back to the channel. And this is part 8 of the shop build out. Is it 8? I'm honestly starting to lose track. Yeah, 7, wait a minute. Sub panel, loose ends, the metal. Yeah. And today we are gonna start pulling some wire from our 100 amp sub panel that we added over here. We're gonna be pulling it through all of our conduit that we bent. I made a separate video on that. So if you've ever been curious or interested in some basic conduit bends, I highly recommend you check out that video. Now, I have been noticing a common theme in the comments about conduit versus MC versus Romex. And I already addressed this in the video when I installed the conduit. So if you disagree with the fact that I should be using conduit and you think that I should be using Romex, for one, I hate to say it, but you're probably not that good of an electrician. Because if you don't understand the benefits of conduit and you think that Romex is a better install, I don't want you doing any work at my house. I don't mean that to be a dick, it's just true. And what I have here is pretty much everything that we're gonna need today to get all these circuits pulled. Now, when you install conduit, it gives you a metal raceway that is very well protected. And that raceway allows you to pull individual conductors through that conduit. You're not pulling Romex through the conduit. That's kind of a no-no. In some situations, it is okay. An example would be if you had an unfinished basement with concrete walls, we would typically install a metal box for your outlet and then have a conduit chase that gets you up into the floor joist. And then from there, you would take your Romex and you would fish it down through that conduit into the outlet and make up your outlet. In that situation, it is acceptable. If any of you ever dabble with electrical and you like doing your own DIY work, I highly, highly, highly recommend this Uglies book as a reference. I keep this book right here in my tool bag all the time. Right here on the front of it, you can see all of your Ohm's law formulas. All of these formulas are very helpful. I use them all the time. And with them, you can calculate your watts or your power, your volts, amps, and resistance or ohms. I did acquire this when I used to work for Mead. If any of you guys know that, they are up there in the 134 area and 697 area. I got a couple tabs that I made. I must have been using these a lot. Motor horsepower current ratings, buck boost for transformers, and KVA ratings also for sizing transformers. Anyways, this book is filled with different reference charts, conductor properties, all your KVA ratings and formulas. I used to use this chart right here all the time for sizing transformers. You've got hand signals for cranes, you've got different kinds of knots, different formulas for bending conduit, how to make concentric bends on banks of conduit. Used that one quite a few times. Right here, this is the one that I wanted to show you because this is directly related to conduit. Maximum number of conductors in, this is liquid tight metal conduit, more liquid tight, that's not what we're using. All right, there is the one that we want. Electrical metallic tubing, EMT, that's what we're using. We are using THHN. So all the way down this column is your conductor size, and then across the top is your conduit size. So we're using number 12, and then that first row is 1/2 inch. So it looks like we could fit 9 12 gauge conductors inside a 1/2 inch conduit. Now there are some other factors like D rating, but we're not gonna get into that. I don't wanna make this any more complicated than it has to be. You don't have to try to memorize everything. You just need a good reference book like the Uglies book. And I will tell you, many, many, many electricians have this on them at all times or nearby. So I will leave an Amazon link for this pinned right down there in the comments. You don't even have to go in the description, but I'll leave one down there too. Highly recommend purchasing one of these. Or if you work for the company, they'll give it to you. But enough talking for right now. Let's get something done. Very important when pulling wire. Safety glasses. Ah, son of a... Be careful when you're putting them on. The panel is dead right now. Breaker's off. Tested. It's safe. Keep in mind, this is not a how-to video. This is for reference purposes only. So I have a circuit right there with black, and I have a circuit right there with red. I'm gonna take the black and the white, and I like to fold them over. Nothing that we're gonna be pulling here today is very far, so I don't need a fish tape. I'm just gonna hand push everything. And there you go. This is ready to push into the pipe. So right here I have a conduit, goes up, over, and down into this outlet box. This is gonna be just for general use right here. This one comes over to this outlet. This is gonna be for the Evolution cold metal saw, which is right there. Back out of that, over to here. This is gonna be kind of in the area where all of my square tube, pretty much everything that you see here on the floor, all of that is gonna be stored on racking, but I have a spot where I could potentially use this outlet also just for general use. Then it comes over here, through the corner, and into this one. These are all just general use outlets. Did I mention that they're general use? So my plan is to put those 4 outlets on their own 20 amp circuit. There's no reason that I need any more circuits than that. And the great thing about conduit, not Romex, is that if I ever decide that I want to put a specific piece of equipment right here and it needs its own circuit, all I got to do is open up the panel, open up a couple of those outlets, and I can push another circuit right through that conduit to that location. That is one really nice thing about conduit. One of my favorite words, conduit, conduit. There we go. I'll leave, I don't know, 12 inches hanging out of there. And then as far as the panel, I like to do the old L trick. Come down to one of the bottom corners and over and cut it right there. That will take care of any breaker. If I want to land it on the top left breaker or the bottom right, this is going to reach. I could loop these if I wanted to and just make it one continuous wire pull. I like to splice and use pigtails, so I'm just going to push to each box individually. Now what I'll do on this one is I left these a little bit shorter. I'm going to leave these a little bit longer. That way I have enough excess that I can use for making the pigtails, which we'll look at that in just a little bit. And there you have it, just like that. All 4 of these outlets are pulled all the way back to the panel. Another little fun fact, any one of these conduit runs that go all the way back to the electrical panel, we refer to those as a home run. Now for the right side of the panel, this right here is going to be a timer for the exhaust fan. This one is going to be just a general use outlet that's going to be on top of the ultimate welding cart. And then right here, there's going to be a regular 120 volt outlet and a 240 volt outlet or receptacle. And the 240 volt receptacle is going to be for a future press brake. Now, believe it or not, I get criticized about every little thing that I do in the comments, only by a couple people. You know, I've went over this before. When I refer to these as outlets, they are technically an outlet, whether it's for lighting or a receptacle. In this situation, it's going to be a receptacle. That is the correct thing for me to say. But I don't want to sit here and try to confuse anybody with a bunch of electrical jargon. But I'll have electricians that already know what they're doing watch the video just so they can critique every little thing that I say or do. So they will 100% give me shit for not saying receptacle. It's kind of funny. So there is our 240 volt, and I'm going to twist these together just so I know that is the 240 volt circuit. I'm going to measure this out. I will pull that tight in this box. So since I've already pulled a black circuit and then a red and a black, then I'll make this a red circuit. Now once I rip this whole wall down, there's going to be another outlet over here. That outlet will take care of this small space, and there's going to be an overhead door eventually for the addition. So right now I have a conduit that turns through the wall and then it dead ends, but that will tie into the circuit that I just pulled, this 120 volt red circuit right here. So for right now, this will dead end here and terminate on the receptacle. When I get all this done, I'll open this back up, pull that red and white wire through here, and then I'll pigtail onto this. So that takes care of those 4 outlets, these 2 outlets, and that took every bit of 5 minutes. Now I need to pull wire to all of these upper outlets. These are gonna be a little bit different because the 2 on the ends in each corner are gonna be for speakers that plug into the wall and then they connect to the Wi-Fi. The other 3 outlets that are more in the middle and a little bit lower, those are gonna be switched outlets used for signage or anything that lights up. I'll have them on a switch so I can come in the shop, flip that switch, and all the signs will light up. So for those switched outlets, we're gonna use a colored wire. This is orange. So my plan is to put the speaker wire on the outside corners there, Put those on a circuit with the exhaust fan, because the exhaust fan is going to be up in the attic. It's just a small inline fan, doesn't pull a whole lot of juice. The 3 outlets in the middle, that one, and that one, those are going to be on a separate circuit that's going to get derived from the other side of the shop. That outlet has a conduit that goes up into the ceiling that I have not yet connected to a junction box, so I can't finish pulling this. And then it comes out the side, down to the switch box for the timer for the exhaust fan. Then it goes down, loops over, and then it comes back up into the panel right there. Now we're gonna add an orange switch leg. That switch leg is gonna take power up into the attic to the outlet for the actual exhaust fan motor. All right, I'm all done pulling the wire for all these outlets on this entire wall, at least as far as I can go. Let's see what we got left in the panel. We got both these conduits pulled, or both these home runs pulled. We got one left, that's a spare that goes up into the attic. Down low, we've got another spare that goes down into this lower section here that can still be accessible later. We just have the 2 3/4, and one of those 3/4 goes over here to the plasma table outlet. I do want to get the welding receptacle pulled and get it completely terminated and done. I have all the parts to do that, so we're gonna do as much as we can here. All right, now I've got some 8 gauge stranded THHN, and this right here we're gonna use for the welder and the CNC plasma table, or the plasma cutter. Number 8 gauge is good for up to 50 amps. And I'll prove that to you right now, because I know I'm gonna have some electrician coming in here and trying to critique every little thing that I do. So right here in my uglies book, we have allowable ampacities of conductors. And this is for raceways, cables, or earth. Over here we've got for free air, so that's like maybe like a triplex cable that's stringing from pole to pole. So this is where we wanna be. Now, even though THHN is good for 90 degrees. Most devices and terminals are only rated for 75 degrees, so that's the column that we're going to use. We're going to go to number 8 gauge, which is right there. We're going to move over to the 75 degree column, and it shows right there, it's good for 50 amps. And I know I'm going to get asked, this is a Cobra Tech out the front knife. So normally, when I pull a 40 or a 50 amp circuit, I'm going to be using number 8. If you're an electrician in New Mexico and you like to pull number 6 for a 50 amp circuit, I'm happy for you. Before I go ahead and do that, I'm gonna run inside and grab some dinner, and then I'll come back out here and kind of button this up, because I'm hungry. It's enchilada night. Come on, you little weasels. Why are you so close? Sometimes I do that too. I have my hands in my sleeves and I go like this. Sometimes I walk into the hardware store like that. I go into Home Depot. That's where they learned it from. All right, we got the Juice Box girls, and they're gonna give me a hand because Mom is at the softball draft, drafting all their players for this year's softball teams. I already have it cut for you guys. All you have to do is push it through the conduit into the box. So where is the sub panel? Okay, that's good. All right, girls, stand up straight. What's the most important thing before we get started?
Safety goggles.
What gave it away?
Where'd you get them from?
I don't remember. From Kohl's? Everyone buys their safety glasses from Kohl's. Can't believe you didn't know that.
I didn't!
Hey, you don't strike your father! God! Kids these days. Because it's 240 volt, not 120 volt, there's no neutral, okay? So you only need 2 hots. And then the conduit right there, this acts as our grounding conductor, okay? So we don't have to pull a separate ground. We can if we want to, but we're gonna use the conduit as our grounding conductor. So all we gotta do is pull those 2 wires, pick them up. I'll let you guys each push one through. So you're gonna push it through that conduit right there. You're gonna push it down until it goes into that box. You gotta do it sometime today so we can make money on this job. Watch your fingers, it's sharp. You gotta feed it in. There you go. Just match them up. Okay, right there. Good job, you guys are my 2 little electrician apprentices. Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me. All right, now we can start splicing everything.
What's splicing mean?
It means that we're gonna take all these wires that are loosely hanging out of here, and we're gonna splice them together and tuck them in the box real nice and put a mud ring on the box. Do you know what a mud ring is?
Oh.
It's sitting over there on the tables. Let's see if you can grab what the mud ring is.
So you can have that thing where you plug it into it.
Exactly. I'm gonna get all this stuff spliced right now, and then you guys can put all the mud rings on and screw them in, okay? Can't beat cheap labor. All right, ladies. Start putting all your mud rings on. You can put them on these 4 outlets. Listen, be careful by the black.
Okay.
Or one thing that's very important is you don't pinch the wires. Here, look. There you go. Watch this. This is too tight, that's why. See? Okay, hey. Tighten it. Tighten the screws. You gotta be easy on the trigger, okay? And don't let it slide off. You gotta push forward too a little bit. Push forward and then just be easy with it. There you go. Push forward more. You gotta get more pressure. There you go. You can't let it come off. You're pushing on the trigger too hard. Hey, use the trigger, it'll spin it. You don't have to spin the whole drill. You gotta push hard, honey. You gotta push on it. The trick with these little impacts is you just bump it. Give it a little bump. You don't just hold it down, because it'll spin right off and then it'll make you jump forward and you could possibly cut yourself or stab yourself. There you go. A little bit better. Yeah, you're getting better. All right, we'll let little goblin do it. You're at an angle. You need to be straight on. You can't do it like this. It's got to be straight. Try it now. Another one. There you go, right there. Okay, good. Girls, Mom's home, so say goodbye.
Bye.
I'd say we put a pretty good dent in this project today. Got a nice little head start before all that tongue and groove arrives this next Monday. I did confirm that is happening and I can't wait. The plan with the tongue and groove is to get started. I'd like to at least get it in here, get it acclimated and get it, I don't know, 6-7 rows high. That way I can trim out all these receptacles, get the panel cover on. I can finish out the rest of it in the next video because I'm only gonna have like 2 days to work on it, maybe, because I gotta let it acclimate. So I'll have the rest of Monday, Tuesday, probably most of Wednesday. I might only have 1 day to install it, so we'll see. Otherwise, let me show you what I got going on here. I got a little bit more done than I wanted to. The unfortunate thing is it's middle of Friday afternoon and I still have to edit this video and post it for tomorrow. But anyway, right over here I got the 2 gang. This is just there temporarily because it's only 5/8. I need 3/4. I mean, this one probably is okay. I don't have to be perfectly flush with the wall covering because I can space it out with some little spacers. But that's going to be the 240 volt outlet, 20 amp, and a regular 120 volt outlet. And this is where the press brake's going to go. And then when you're looking at the panel, the first outlet going that way and the first outlet going that way, these will both be GFIs, and then every outlet after will be downloaded. So those will be just regular 20 amp receptacles. And I went ahead and made this one a quad. So this will be a GFI, and then just a standard 20 amp. And that's where that cord reel is gonna plug in and mount to that backing. So able to get the welding receptacle in, and I decided to just go ahead and pull that wire. I have a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna do now. So what I did was I mounted this extension ring on here. So we have the box inside the wall, and then we have the extension ring that mounts to it. And then from there, I'll be coming out of this with two SOs. One will be the 50 amp feed for the plasma cutter. The other one will be 120 amp. And that'll be for the plasma table controller. It'll be for the computer and for the Tsunami air dryer. Along with this, I'm gonna have to drill another hole in the concrete, pound down a ground rod to ground the frame of the boss table. And I went ahead and got the air manifold installed too. All I have to do is get a 90 to come out and then go down for my quick coupler. And I had a couple people in the last video comment that I should have centered this between the ribs, and I offset it for a reason, because I'm gonna have those two SO cords coming out and down, and then I'm gonna have this air hose coming down. So I wanted that to be offset that way and the manifold to be offset the other way so that nothing would run into each other. Now I do have a couple little spots like right there. I'm not happy with the way that that looks. So I think what I'm gonna do right there is once I get the Boss plasma table up and running, I'm gonna fabricate my own box for that. It's gonna have a little bit bigger of an overlap. I'll have all the holes and everything cut right in it from the design, and it should look really nice and clean. So I'll probably come back and pull that off and redo it. So since I pulled all the wire, I was able to fully terminate the entire panel. I still have 2 more breakers left for spares. Otherwise, I think it turned out fairly clean and tidy. Anyways, I am out of time. I know this wasn't the funnest video, but it needed to get done. Lots of work goes into making these videos and editing them. So please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel. We got a lot more cool stuff that's gonna happen on this wall and the rest of the shop. And that's something else I've been wanting to ask you guys. You've already kind of seen me do this once on this wall. There are gonna be some other things that are gonna be a little bit different on the other two. Do you guys wanna see that? I probably won't stretch it out as much as I am with this. I'll probably have longer videos with more progress, so let me know if you guys want to see that. There's one more thing I was gonna ask you. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something. I wanna see if you could figure out what the issue is here. Now this is pretty easy, but I wanna test your skills. A while back, I did a power station video. I won't say for what company, and it really doesn't matter because there was nothing wrong with the power station at all. A couple of you guys caught this in that video, and I wasn't trying to hide it, but they sent me a couple of like extension cords, like 50 amp extension cords. The one I have in my hand was defective, and I thought it was pretty funny what the problem was with this cord. So I cut the cord off and I saved it just as, I don't know, like a conversation piece. So here it is. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything about it. You guys tell me what is wrong with this plug and what was the cord. All right, yeah, good look there. Good look there. Let me know in the comments what's wrong with that. I just can't believe that someone actually manufactured that and shipped them out. Anyways, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Wait for Billy Bob the trucker. I mean, that was ridiculous. Was that loud or what? Yeah. Son of a, it's already tangled up. How to build a missile? Yeah. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I sure can. I had to do that to some old lady the other day at the grocery store. She almost took the last bag of sunflower seeds. Not a good idea.